Hi friends, welcome. This is Archangel. Okay, so I think what guys need is a little clarity. I had a conversation with a guy the other day, and it brought up a stark point. Too many guys exist in a quasi-land where they see and vent about injustices towards males, yet they still flirt with the Black Widows and service a system that enables abuse of themselves and their brothers. Now, I have not abandoned MGTOW, but I must say, in all honesty, I have watched the community grow, and I am embarrassed by most of the characters that have invaded this once hallowed stronghold of brotherly solidarity. Now we have straight up blue pillars here, preaching the same crap that the rest of the world shames males with. The same crap that drove most of us to red pill ingestion and male spaces in the first place. Well, guess what? You cannot serve two masters at once. You may bounce back and forth between loyalties, but at any given second, you are only serving the interests of one. You are either in allegiance with male empowerment, or you enable male exploitation and usury. There it is, point blank. Reduce down all words of wisdom, all the opinions, all the claptrap regarding males, and this is what it boils down to. You are serving the interests of one or the other. You cannot be a lukewarm double agent. It's male empowerment or vaginisty servitude. One or the other. Pick a side. Okay, so I was talking to a purple pill guy who was asking me if I could date females yet retain my sovereignty. I told him that at my level of awakening, it was conceivable. However, I would be seen as a jerk because I would not let anything slide or allow any devaluation. And thus I would be seen as a selfish jerk by the rest of the unawakened world. And so he said, yeah, well, why would a chick put up with that when they have blue pill males lined up around the corner willing to do anything for her? Yep. He is right. If I want female attention or acceptance in a female elevating society, I have to play the game of male devaluation. So every last one of you has to clarify your thoughts and choose your allegiance. You are either dedicated to empowering yourself or to denigrating yourself. You are either serving male welfare or you are striking against it. There it is, no middle ground. So pay attention. You need to choke down a few truths. You see, in order to get any type of female acknowledgement, you must compromise part of your worth and sovereignty. Short of finding the magical unicorn with the looks of a supermodel and the heart of a saint, every other female will expect you to compromise your friends, your standards, your beliefs, your finances in order to gain her attention. Because if you do not compromise or give in on everything she demands, then guess what? There are already a dozen other guys lined up who will. You have to compromise male worth in order to interact with females in this fairy tale called romance. Most things you will find yourself doing are so subtle that you may not notice how you are giving away your value. In fact, you may not even notice how you are letting little male disparaging comments slide. Or perhaps you are overlooking snide remarks about your dreams or your ambitions or your hobbies or your family. You may ignore the little shaming tactics used against you or other males. Maybe you open a car door or pay for the dinners. Perhaps you sacrifice your gym time or your family time for her. Yet you still think that because you watch videos where guys drone on about feminism, that you are still empowered and awakened. However, there is no female that will rise to, let alone put up with, male empowerment or MGTOW anything. Psst, please. Why would they? They could have 50 blue pill males at their door 5 minutes from now by posting a slinky picture on Tinder or Zoosk. If you get attention or approval from females or the society that elevates them, then you are serving them at the expense of your own worth and that of your whipped and bleeding brothers. Gentlemen, hear me, and hear me well on this one. You serve either your own empowerment or you serve the vaginisty. That's it. There is no middle ground. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. These pickup artists are doing males a serious disservice because you must necessarily compromise little pieces of yourself in order to pretend like all these females worship you. You must necessarily spit on your brothers and your own self-worth every time you hook up with females. Every time you chase the drugs of romance and female-assisted ejaculations, you are hemorrhaging your own value, power, worth, and sovereignty. Not only that, but these wannabe players do not warn you about the ugly side of female interaction, and that any time spent alone with any female could be the last for a long time, because any male alone with any female, he is at her mercy, and she could turn around and accuse him of anything, and guess what? His reputation, his pocketbook, his very liberty could be screwed up for the rest of his life. Funny, they don't tell you how males are abused and at the mercy of females. Yeah, all they advertise is, if you want to bang a bunch of hot hoes, click, comment, rate, and subscribe. Oh, and don't forget to tell your friends to follow me also. We are such a mechanized and lazy society. We don't want to spend the time or energy necessary to think. We don't want to question or go against the flow. We want things to be figured out for us and nicely packaged for our consumption. Well, okay then, so let me break down a few things for the embarrassing blue pill contingent that has infiltrated our sacred sovereign spaces. I have done the thinking for you, so listen up and let these realities sink in. If you interact with gynocentrism, you serve it. Meaning, if you are hooking up with females, you are serving female interests, no matter what you think. Male empowerment is everything that returns worth and sovereignty to males. The vaginisty is all people, all beliefs, all paradigms which elevate females and degrade males. You cannot interact with females romantically without compromising your value and power. Thus, you are serving the vaginisty. You cannot get married without absolutely squashing your worth. Thus, you are serving the vaginisty. You cannot have kids without giving away your rights, since they are awarded to the mother and the state as property. Thus, when you're popping out kids, you must necessarily serve the vaginisty. There is no being chivalrous and empowered at the same time. Chivalry serves the vaginisty. There is no adherence to religion, traditionalism, or conservatism and simultaneous male empowerment. All paradigms devalue males, which serves the vaginisty's agenda of female elevation by default. Loving boys cannot exist alongside of circumcision. Circumcision is physically devaluing males by taking away their sovereignty and physically defacing them or branding them. And that which devalues males services the vaginisty. Are you understanding all of this? You cannot be a fence rider. There is no in-between. Your actions either empower your worth and value, or they denigrate your worth and value to that of a groveling shovel that has to earn his daily air through service to the vaginisty. There is no cake and eating it too. You are either empowered or you're a poser that comes here to vent as you give away pieces of yourself daily just to play the game and interact with females. You are not players. You are not pimps. You do not have females giving themselves to you for free. You are paying for every bit of attention that you get, even if the female is chasing you. You are paying for every bit of female interaction that you solicit. And yes, you are soliciting attention from females. They are not chasing you. Oh yes, maybe you think you are a playa because she paid for dinner and she gave you head afterwards, and you think that you are the man. Wow, that pickup artist stuff really works. Yet think of all the time and money and energy you have expended to get to this point. You had to buy the clothes, get the muscles, you had to get the fancy car or phone in order to attract a female. All of this money is spent for the sole purpose of attracting the attention of females. Money that could have been spent on other things. You have purposely invested your time, money, energy, and resources into attracting female attention. It didn't just happen. Females didn't just suddenly start chasing you. you had to invest your toil and your resources to get female attention, which is the paradigm of the entire rest of the world, genius. Males trading toil and labor and protection for female attention. Wow. See how that works? So be not fooled. Males are paying for every bit of female attention they get, even if they get out of paying for dinner or the movie. And believe me, females will not pay for every other date for very long. Not when there are hordes of males lined up, willing to wait on her hand and foot like a princess and pay for everything her little heart desires. Friends, understand that you must give away little bits of your precious worth. You must compromise little parts of your soul every time you interact with the objects of gynocentrism, which is females. Otherwise, there are 100 guys lined up around the corner that will do everything for her that you will not. The car dealer will not entertain your haggling over prices or warranty. Not when there are 5 other buyers waiting right now, excited and enthusiastic to pay full retail plus all the dealer and documentation fees, and maybe even a healthy tip for the salesperson. Females will not put up with male empowerment or sovereignty. They are the objects of affection, desire, and worship in this world, and thus they make the rules. If you want their attention, you play by their rules. Thus, you give away pieces of your worth, your pride, and your sovereignty to interact with them and receive approval from them and the society that elevates them. This is it. Point blank, understand this well. So, gentlemen, live your lives. Enjoy your addictions, but be clear. You enable male empowerment, or you serve the vaginisty and all that devalues male kind, just like the remaining 99.5% of this world. If you interact with gynocentrism, you serve it. Understand this and stop acting empowered or awakened. You're not. You are servicing the same master everybody else does, which is the vaginisty. Males are devalued and disposed of. This is the problem. Males enable, allow, and actively devalue themselves and their brothers. This is the cause of the problem. And guess what? Backslapping, cigar-chomping images of conservatism holding brandy snifters will not fix the problem. Getting rid of or silencing feminism will not solve the problem either. Taking refuge in religion or home and hearth notions of family will not fix the problem nor bring remedy to it. Males unwilling to compromise their worth and value, this will fix the problem. This is not a mandate for ghosting. I am simply clarifying all the bull that has muddied the waters of male empowerment. Every last one of you needs to have clarity and responsibility. Everything you do or say either adds to male empowerment and collective worth or it denigrates it. Period. You either empower yourself and your brothers, or you kick and spit on them as they lie bleeding, just like the rest of the world does. You must be aware and clear on this point. There is no resolution of gynocentrism and male power or sovereignty. You are not having the best of both worlds. You are not having your cake and eating it too. You are not empowered and chivalrous at the same time. There are no sovereign Romeos, because you have to compromise somehow in some way in order to be in the game at all. And compromise detracts from empowerment. And just where do you think all those little pieces of power that you peel away from yourself and your soul, where do you think they go? The power you give away goes straight to feeding the gynocentric machine that shames and devalues you in the first place. Every bit of you that you compromise, every piece of your male brilliance and genius and value that you barter in order to receive attention or acceptance, all your beautiful light goes straight to fueling the vaginisty. Understand this. The worth of males you care about is thrown under the bus by you every time you concede to anything gynocentric. There is a reason certain tenets have arisen in male empowerment spheres, because they are undeniable truths on the path to male value reclamation. It's curious how every new wave of abused males coming to our spaces thinks they need to reinvent the wheel. They think that their predecessors are too anal about gynocentrism, or they think that they will be the ones to find a way to mate empowerment and gynocentrism. Yet these new waves of males have no new ideas. They simply start leaking blue pill philosophies into our spaces. Fine, do whatever you want, but realize there is no interaction with gynocentrism that allows you to keep your sovereignty. You must give away pieces of your worth anytime you interact with females, anytime you interact with a female-favoring species, society, culture, planet. Don't pretend to be empowered as you still open doors, pay for everything, and carry the heavy stuff. Don't act like you're introducing new ideas by preaching not to hit females. Don't act like you care about male welfare as you remain silent to even approving of circumcision. You are not new and improved. You are not refreshing or invigorating male spaces. You are agents of male disposal, introducing the same old bigotry that is rampant everywhere else. Okay, cool. It's your life. Live it as you see fit. But be clear on who and what you are. You are a weak servant of the vaginisty, not an empowered, awakened male. Don't pretend to be empowered while you are dating. You are still a vaginisty clown who is pathetic enough to think that you are strong and apathetic enough to continue the abuse of the male sex. Well gee, what about option 3, neutrality? I am not helping males, but I'm not hurting males either. I am not claiming allegiance to male empowerment, but I am not aligned with the vaginisty either. I can interact with females without degrading the worth of the male collective, right? Nope. Sorry. In a world that exists only on the shoulders of males, you are either riding on those shoulders like everyone else, or you are trying to liberate the shoulders that support this misandristic world. It's like this. When you are in the middle of the ocean and the ship hits an iceberg and sinks, now you are either in the life raft or you are on your own. There is no neutral place in between the life raft and treading water. Even if you are holding onto the side of the raft while in the water because there is no room in the raft, still you are either receiving support in some way from the life raft or you are totally abandoned and treading water on your own. There is no middle ground. There is no neutrality in this scenario. Likewise, you are either helping the shoulders that carry the world or you are adding to their burden. You either empower male worth or you abuse males. That's it. End of discussion. Until there is a cessation of devaluation and disposal of males, there is no neutral point. There is no independent or centrist party. You either hurt or you heal males. That's it. Any time you interact with gynocentrism, you are serving it. You have to compromise your worth, your value, your dreams, your ambitions, your money, your toil, your labor, even your very life essence in order to interact with gynocentrism in the first place. I have spoken in great length about the who, what, where, when, and whys of all this, as have other males. However, there seems to be more and more soft, not so bright female elevating little boys in our spaces. So, I'll clear everything up. Simply rejecting long-term relationships and marriage is not a remedy to male devaluation or disposal. If you chase females in any capacity, you serve the vaginisty. You are the problem. At least be clear in your own mind and own your lies that you are vaginisty slaves, posing as male sympathizers. My brothers, choose to empower male worth by rejecting all that devalues and disposes of males. Males need to be empowered in everyday actuality, not just between 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. when they are posting comments to videos. So there it is. Why would females put up with your value, your worth, your feelings, your power, your empowerment, your sovereignty, when there are gazillions of guys lined up who will be doormats and do everything for them? Thus, if you are interacting with females, you are compromising parts of yourself somehow on some level. You are negotiating your worth in order to play the game, in order to be noticed and receive attention and approval. There are no ifs, ands, or buts. This is how it is. Males cannot interact with gynocentrism and retain complete worth. My friends, let's clean our male spaces of the vaginisty riffraff. Stand with me, live free.